Hello, Stanley Atkins here again about Robert Alexander and Mingledorff and all the regular I already told you, McLaughlin and Moulton, the scumbag, other sheriffs, Janet Mangum of Jackson County and Speed of Banks County and every other political person up there. It's no good, they're all tied together. But I want everybody to understand, I'm not bashing my ex over any of this. Basically, she could have told Alexander and everybody else that she's not taking my son away from his father, but she did not, because of she wanted to use him to get, Robert Alexander convinced her that she was the center of the universe, and that it was going to take Connor to win this divorce. And so therefore everybody used him, including all of Robin's friends and family. Every one of them could have got together, or some of them could have got together and said, Connor loves his father, and we shouldn't do this to him. Let's have his best interest in mind. But nope, everybody wanted to kill Stanley. Stab, stab, stab. I remember Robin, I tried to work with her on a negotiating about all this, but I remember chopping her hand and looking at me, I want half, like, Robin, nobody knows what half I have. No government, no CPA, no bank, not you, not Alexander, not anybody knows what half is of mine. I said, and all them put together and can't figure it out. But you take his Amy Fries of Robin's mom, Ann Guyton, Shelley, her sister, Shelley Edwards, Jim Edwards, her husband, works for Merrill Lynch, which both of those are crooks. I took a lawsuit out against Edwards, Jim, Merrill Lynch, and Shelley Edwards for illegally transferring some stock out of my name into Shelley's name. I had it with Merrill Lynch, and Jim Edwards just took it on his own to take it out. So therefore I filed a lawsuit against all those people. It was federal law. It was a big deal. But Alexander and Robin was determined to take my son away from me. And I just want to read you some things from the last one of the last big court sessions. It wasn't the last court session, but basically Alexander pulled the trigger on all this, and he coached Robin into every bit of this. And all of her friends and family joined the ranks right behind Alexander. Let's kill Robin, let's take his son, let's take his farm. And this impacted my son in a very, very, very negative way. And my daughter Candace won't even have anything to do with me, because they brainwashed them that I was a bad father. And my daughter Candace, poor little thing, she does not have the mentality to see that she had been brainwashed. My son knows very well that what they were trying to do, and they did not brainwash him into that fact, but it did change my son totally. My son was on a good work ethic. He loved working with me. He loved working for me. Again, all that went to pot, and it changed his whole personality because he did not have a father figure. And I want to read you some things, but basically that has some damning psychological effects on my son forever, and it has ever changed him. And it's amazing, I was reading some of the stuff a while ago, and it said the parents aren't supposed to allow their son to smoke or alcohol, and all that is just so funny. When Jill Sutherland, after the mom's death, that very night had a party for everybody, including my son, of course. Let's party. Your mom's dead. The funeral's over, and let's get drunk. And basically, they all filmed that and had put that out there. And so that's no smoking and no drinking is a good thing for Robin's friends to do for my son. But if I do it, it's not good. But I just want to read you some things. My son elected to come and live with me back, let's see, on 15th of December. Finally, we wrote up an affidavit of election. Says, my name is Connor Jake Atkins. I'm 12 years old of age, and I'm a resident of Jackson County, state of Georgia. My birthday is March 12, 1999. My statement is as follows. I am in the 7th grade at Jefferson Middle School. I love both my parents very much, and I want to live with my father. I enjoy living with my dad in my home in the woods where I have grown up. I am able to ride four-wheelers and dirt bikes, and I feel very comfortable in the house where I grew up. I love my mother very much. I would like to visit her and spend time with her, but I would like to live full time with my father. I can talk to my dad about anything. He is a cool dad that takes care of me. I would like to live with my dad because he's my dad, but also because his home is my home where I've grown up. Now that my son signed under oath and got it notarized. And that's not the only times he did anything like. He's written notes to people. He's begged people, everybody he come in contact with, that he wanted to see me, he wanted to live with me. And let me see if I can read something. His class had them write who their hero was in life. And my son wrote about me, which his mom laughed at that. And he brought it home, I understand. This was back during the divorce. And he wrote about me as being his hero. My daddy is a wonderful, special person to me. He does most things with me. For example, we enjoy fishing, motorcycle riding, and four-wheeling. Working really hard is what my dad does best. I go work with him sometimes. He travels worldwide and tells me about his travels always. And he tries his hardest, very hard. My dad is a very hard worker, and that I don't know what it says, but anyway, Dad keeps saying I'm a very hard worker. Dad owns his own business, and he's a buyer for his stores. He travels internationally. For example, he goes to Hong Kong, China, Vietnam, and Korea. Dad has named his stores Wow. He sells everything that goes in your home. For instance, sofas, lamps, pictures hang on the wall. My dad has great traits. Dad is also there to play with me. He helps me on the farm. My dad and I chop wood for the fireplace and always enjoy fishing in our lake. We walk through the woods in the coat of my grandma's. He teaches me to never give up on anything. My dad and I have 700 acres of land. My dad and I have a great time together. My dad has become the most important person in my life and the most influential. I love my dad so much, and I like his sense of humor. We are going to doing a lot of stuff. We're going to be doing a lot of stuff together. We go for motorcycle rides every Sunday. That's the only time we can do anything at him, 6 hours only. Anyway, my dad is my hero in my life. You see things like that and nobody pays attention to it. You scumbag Finch and you scumbag Robin's friends and family. You care less about my son. All y'all wanted to do is damage me in any way you could. You care less about my son. And here's a police record of Mehmet Osby where he physically assaulted one of his girlfriends, and Robin was there to actually help. This was before they got together. And on this date and time, reporting officer, this was June 19, 2009, when I walked into the officer's room. I saw two white females sitting down and talking with Sergeant New. Then he advised me of what was working on, and that he was just getting ready to complete the report. And this was Robin and Mehmet's girlfriend, which was from Mexico. She stated that she was pushed and grabbed in the upper bicep area of her left arm, spit on. From investigative experience, this has been proven that in the area there were bruising. After several days, the bruising was slowing better. Anyway, Mehmet was taken into custody by the Jefferson Police Department, transferred to Jackson County, and he was arrested, of course, and his girlfriend went back to Mexico, where Robin followed, and then she turns around and is out with him. Here's some archives. It is under Mehmet Osby with his records. He has 2 marriage records. He has 1 divorce record. So basically, he's still married, which Robin met his wife up here, and they had shared a lot of things together over him. This is all about him. Okay, we have Robin's brother, Vince. Now, Vince was convicted of possession of marijuana. He was sentenced to 5 years, 0 months, 0 days. He was in possession of LSD in Oconee County, and possession of cocaine, and he was convicted also of selling. Now, I caught him also stealing in my stores, and I made him write up a report because I had to hire him so to have a place to go when he got out of jail, or they wouldn't let him out of jail. I didn't want him hired. He's lazy, he's no good, and he's a thief. And I caught him stealing, and here's his where I made him write out what he stole, who he stole it from, and how much he had sold. But getting to the point is, Mehmet Osby and Vince Guyton, Bill Guyton, the father, and Guyton, the adulteress, all of them had 24 access to my son. And I have no record of nothing at all, ever. I've been known in the community as the best father ever in the community. And this is, there's not even any, to read about this. This is, this is something I beat Robin in court about, and Robert Alexander wrote up this bunch of BS letter about it. Himself, this is his words, and things like, ultimately, Robin wants Connor to be happy, healthy, and successful. While he should not believe in the divorce case that it was in Connor's best interest for Mr. Atkins to have joint physical custody of Connor. Shukowitz hopes that Connor would be happy with the arrangement, and that the solution to the case could bring Connor and the parties together, giving me custody of him. So basically, I gained custody of my son. All right. You saw earlier where I shot a copy of, in which it is here. He withdrew from the case. I put up those signs calling him what he is, a child rapist, molester, and so forth. And then he, on July 31st, dismissal of motion to withdraw, and he set a court hearing to take my son permanently away. Well, let me hear you what he said here. Let's see. All right. Let's see. The father has become strongly obsessed with the respondent's attorney going to the extreme and outrageous lengths to seek a twisted type of vengeance for perceived wrongs that occurred during the divorce action. Yep, Alexander, and it's going to keep going, buddy. I can promise you this. He stated things like this. The father has attempted to poison, alienate, and estrange the minor child from the mother by discussion of the alleged shortcomings and faults of the mother, with the minor child in direct violation of this court's final order in the divorce action. Okay, that came from Robin, of course. Whether I did or didn't doesn't matter. That's called evidence. As a result of the foregoing, this is Alexander and Robin, what you're going to take my son for good away from me. As a result of the foregoing, the best interest of the minor child that the court modify custody and grant respondent, which is Robin, sole legal and physical custody of the minor child, meaning Connor, with the father either exercising no visitation whatsoever or in the alternative exercise only supervised visitation in a controlled environment such as that the minor child can be protected from the father's pervasive and damaging mental illness and accompanying symptoms thereof. Oh, me, Alexander. That's just friggin' amazing. What a sick people you are. But anyway, get this, guys. This was the big hearing, okay? And getting back to, I had the lawsuit. He filed this the same time he put in the motion to get back in the case. This is signed the same day, July the 31st. So it pissed him off so much, he got back in the case. He didn't get back in the case to protect his client. He had already got out of the case from Robin. He got back in the case to go after me. Attorney's supposed to be doing the best interest for their client, which they don't. They don't intend on doing that. They tend to blood suck you everything they can get out of you. That's what their job is. That's what they want to do. So he had gotten out of the case because he didn't want to deal with it anymore. I put the signs up about him. He got in the case, back in the case. Was that in the best interest of his client? No, he got in the case to get me. Well, it didn't work. Again, I keep me an ace in the hole. I had that major lawsuit against Shelley Edwards, Robin's sister, Jim Edwards, Merrill Lynch, and all for illegal transferring that stock. In this court petition, they had all set up already with Mingledorf. They had 6 guards at this courthouse. It was held in Barrow. They've only had 1 before. They have portrayed me as this bad guy. Am I freaking stupid? I don't have a damn right. What am I going to do in a court? I'm going to attack a judge or whatever. You know, you people are stupid, judges. Anyway, excuse me. Their intentions was to take my son totally away from me. They'd already set this up. Let me tell you how it was. Alexander, I subpoenaed the principals of the schools, many teachers of the schools, anybody that was anybody in that community to testify what kind of person, what kind of father it was. And it's getting dark, as you can see here, and I'll get off this thing in a minute, but I want to finish this up. But when Alexander came in, I've been representing myself on this case for a long time. I fired 5 attorneys firms representing my divorce, and I'll go over some of those later. But when Alexander came, I called him in a room, and this is a smart ass Alexander. This is these guys. They believe they own my son. They believe this, or any kid, not just my son. Anyway, I called him in a room because I'm representing myself. I can talk to him. I said, "You sure you don't want to settle this out of court?" He said, "No, Robin. You know, it's always Robin. It's not Robin. It's him. Robin wants to go through with the court." I said, "Well, you know, Alexander, I didn't put up those signs. And I'm not fighting this for my son because I have my son, and I'm not fighting. I'm fighting for other sons." He said, "Well, I got him now. This is Alexander. This is his smart mouth, and I got all his letters and all the crap filed in the court showing what a smart mouth he's got. That he has a right to own my son." I said, "No, you don't." I said, "I'm going to tell you what." I said, "I'm going to walk out that door with my son." He said, "No, you're not." I said, "Watch and see me." I said, "You're going to go tell Robin that I'm going to drop this lawsuit against her sister, and I'm walking out the door with my son." He said, "Okay, I'll go see." And of course, that's what happened. But here, they accuse me of all this, that I'm this kind of crazy man, and I shouldn't be around my son. He should be permanently taken away from me, but yet I can walk out of the courtroom with. Is that not using my son? Is that not selling my son to me? I bought my son 3 time from the state where Alexander had a hold on him. Well, Robert Alexander, you don't have a hold on my son. You don't have a hold on me, okay? But anyway, I walked out of the courtroom with him, and I had full custody of him. I wrote my own up. But I'm going to tell you what, when we went in that courtroom, you could see Mingledorff's face. He shows his body language clearly, and I'm going to tell you more about that later. He was pissed off. But you know what? I started doing the courtroom. I started going there to court. And excuse me, everybody. Alexander, Rob, I'm going to walk out of the courtroom with my son. There ain't a damn thing anybody can do about this in here, and even the judge. And I'm walking out with him. I started to do that. But Mingledorff couldn't do a damn thing about it. Zero about it. I got my son on my own terms. But you know what? I didn't take him away from his mom. I done what we agreed to do before she left home. She keeps him 1 week, and I keep him 1 week. A kid needs both parents. And they do. And I would never, ever take my son or my child away from his mom because he needs her. And goodbye, and I will talk to y'all later.